sun's a bit hazy, checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of
trouble to the all clear sign.
trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling you see, prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this show on the road, guys. Let's do it right now. My name is Ron Tyler. I'm with the Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Welcome to our show tonight, guys. We're here for you every day, Monday through Friday, sometime between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time here on the East Coast. That time element could be anywhere around the world or anywhere in the United States. We want to welcome everybody here to our program tonight. Now, guys, we're going to be all over the board tonight, literally, okay? Tonight, I want to talk about what happened in Michigan last night, yesterday afternoon, okay? Something big happened. What happened? Let's talk about it for a minute. This is another biggie, okay? We've had 4 incidents involving terrorist attacks at synagogues, at bars, and schools around this country. 4 of them. Yesterday, there was a shooting the day before yesterday, there was a shooting at Old Dominion University, left 1 dead. 1 dead and 1 other person injured. Okay? That happened. That happened early in the morning at 10:49 in the morning. But what happened yesterday? Yesterday at Temple Israel in Michigan. Temple Israel in Michigan. A suspect was killed. 30 people were hospitalized in targeted violence at Michigan Synagogue. 30 first responders were taken to the hospital with smoke inhalation after targeted violence on the Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Okay? Now, guys, last year, we had another church that was targeted in Michigan as well. Okay? But Temple Israel in Bloomfield, Michigan is located at West Walnut Lake Road in the nation's largest Reform synagogue, according to the website. Okay? But just before 1 p.m. yesterday, a car rammed into the building and continued down a hallway. That's when law enforcement said that the car caught fire. Though the extent of the fire is not totally detailed as of yet, the investigation is ongoing. But guys, how does a car go down a hallway? This was planned. This was planned in advance. Okay? I want to later talk about church security for all of you. Most of you go to churches. I want to talk about church security and your involvement in your own church's security system. Okay? Officers at Temple Israel neutralized a suspect, according to the West Bloomfield Police. One member of Temple Israel's security team was hit by a car. They were released at a local hospital and are expected to be okay. The FBI is looking into this. The FBI is going to lead the investigation of this crime, which is now being labeled as a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. They say an active shooter training was held at Temple Israel on January 30th. That's what we're going to talk about this tonight. But an active shooter training was held at the temple. While the shelter-in-place order is no longer active today, the Temple Israel staff is asking for space and patience while the investigation continues at the synagogue. The agencies also activated the tip line, the FBI tip line, which can be accessed by going online. Okay? 1-800-FBI. Actually, I'm sorry, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Okay? Now, this is not going to change the Jewish community. Okay? The CEO of the Jewish Federation of Detroit said Temple Israel confirmed all 140 students at the Susan Harold Loss Early Childhood Center, as well as staff, teachers, and security personnel are all safe. Okay? Teachers and staff were credited by following training and for keeping students safe and themselves safe and calm throughout the incident. The security staff was credited for neutralizing the suspect. Neutralizing the suspect. We are deeply humble and grateful for our teachers, staff, security, law enforcement, and Shenandoah Country Club that welcomed us, fed us, and sheltered our staff, teachers, and children and parents. What incredible neighbors. What incredible neighbors we have. What incredible police force members we have. Officials said in part, this note is coming to you before we know anything about our future programming or our future services during this investigation. We want you to know that we are safe. We want you to know that we love you all. That's coming from Temple Beth Israel. Deputies from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office said they're very thankful that no children or staff at the school and the synagogue were injured. President Trump was also fully briefed on the incident. He called it a very terrible thing and said we're going to be right down to the bottom of it. He said, I want to send our love to the Michigan Jewish community and to all the people in Detroit. The Detroit area is in that area also. The entire Detroit area is in that area also. Okay? President Trump said it's an absolutely incredible thing like this would happen. We pray that it doesn't happen anymore. In regards to this incident, authorities advised Michiganders that they should follow the direction of law enforcement. I repeat that. In regards to anything, at any church, follow the direction of law enforcement to the T. Okay? We're very grateful for the first responders and their quick response to this incident. President Trump and the Temple Beth Israel people said, our hearts are with the families and everyone affected by the violence at Temple Israel. All Americans should feel safe where they go and pray, work, and live. Anti-Semitism has no place in our society. We must all come together to condemn this horrible violence. All communities deserve the right to worship safely. This is another frightening event that still is being cleared. All communities deserve the right to worship safely. All communities. And acts of terror and anti-Semitism must be condemned and dealt with to the fullest extent of the law. A suspect involved in the shooting at the Michigan Synagogue has died. The Department of Homeland Security identified the suspect as Ayman Mohammed Ghazali. Ayman, A-Y-M-A-N, Mohammed Ghazali, G-H-A-Z-A-L-I. He was born in Lebanon and became a U.S. citizen in 2016. Okay? Again, this man was identified not just as a suspect, but he was identified as a perpetrator, the person that was recruited and trained to carry out an assassination attempt. He was trained. The person confirmed the death but did not immediately provide additional details. Okay? They're not releasing any more details. But no one else was injured. Deputies with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office with multiple other agencies and the FBI responded to the active shooter at Temple Beth Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan yesterday afternoon. Now, guys, they're still trying to sort this out. Okay? As more information comes out about this, we'll tell you as soon as we get it. I think it's very important we understand what happened here. We need to understand exactly what happened. Our lives depend on it. This is not the first time this has happened. It's not going to be the last. Like I said, already in the past 3 to 4 months, there have been 4 incidents like this. 4 of them. Okay? Now, I'm going to take some questions a little bit later. Okay? I want to make sure everybody understands what happened here. Okay? The first responders' first priority is the safety and well-being of the entire community. Okay? Even Governor Gretchen Whitmer said that her office was working with the Michigan State Police to get more information in hopes for the safety of everyone. Whitmer said, this is heartbreaking. Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace. Anti-Semitism and violence should have no place in Michigan or anywhere else. The Attorney General of Michigan, Dan Essel, said her office is also closely monitoring the situation and urged Michiganders to follow requests of law enforcement. Our hearts are with the congregation and community of Temple Beth Israel as law enforcement and the FBI continues the investigation. It will be an active crime scene for some time to come. We don't know when the Temple Beth Israel will be able to have people in it until this investigation is finished. We don't know when that's going to happen. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the KC-135 crash that happened yesterday evening. KC-135 aircraft is a refueling tanker that's been used for 60 years. 6 U.S. service members aboard the refueling aircraft died after mid-air collision caused a crash in Iraq. They were killed aboard the KC-135 refueling aircraft in western Iraq yesterday afternoon. Okay? The KC-135 refueling aircraft went down after a crash, a mid-air collision. Okay? All 6 members of the aircraft have been confirmed dead. The other aircraft involved in the incident landed safely. Officials said loss of the aircraft was not as a result of hostile fire or friendly fire. The identities of the servicemen are being withheld pending notification of next of kin, and they will be released within the next 24 hours after the notifications are complete. As I said in the beginning, the KC-135 aircraft has been in service for more than 60 years, supporting the Air Force, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and Allied aircraft. The Air Force is gradually replacing the aging fleet with the next generation KC-46A Pegasus tankers. Okay? Now, I want to talk to you about what's going on all over the world. I want to talk to you briefly about what's going on in Iran right now. Okay? A lot of stuff is happening. The stuff that is happening can affect each and every one of us. That's why we're going to talk about it now. I want to make it very clear. This is very important to each one of you, your families and friends, your neighbors, your community members. What happened in the Strait of Hormuz? Okay? Iran said that they were going to mine the Strait of Hormuz as they've done in years past, and even for decades, to stop the flow of oil around the world. Again, this was from control. Iran wanted to have complete control of the world. They thought by putting mines in the Strait of Hormuz some 47 years ago that they would stop the flow of oil around the world and have control of the world. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. The United States Navy and the British Navy came in and put in minesweepers and mine safety personnel and deprogrammed the mines and took those mines out of service. Okay? They wanted to do it for control. Now, that may have worked for only several hours the other day. But yesterday, President Trump found out through Bloomberg that Lloyd's of London. What is Lloyd's of London? It's an insurance company. Lloyd's of London is located in London, England. Okay? Lloyd's of London stopped insuring oil tankers so they couldn't move. There's a link here. Stay here with me. There's a huge link to Lloyd's of London and Iran. Again, Lloyd's of London is an insurance company. Very expensive insurance company. In fact, again, they insure oil tankers, other ships, and other big pieces of property, as well as individual expensive property. As it turns out, the Prime Minister of Britain, Sir Keir Starmer, is in bed with the new Iran Supreme Commander. Sir Keir Starmer is in bed with the new Iran Supreme Commander, the Ayatollah Mujtaba Khomeini. The Ayatollah Mujtaba Khomeini. Khomeini's family money trail leads right through the back door of Great Britain to the small island of St. Kitts on the Isle of Man in Leeward Islands, a kind of offshore bank. Now, those people in the St. Kitts Islands of the Isle of Man, or Isle of Man, have nodes to the City of London's offshore banking network. Okay? They are nodes of the City of London's offshore banking network. The same City of London that tried to spike oil prices against a city president who is at war. The City of London tried to spike oil prices, guys. Isn't that interesting? Again, you need to remember, who is in charge of London? The mayor of London is an Islamic mayor linked to Iran. The Iranian Revolution was not a revolution at all. It was a management arrangement. The Iranian Revolution was not a revolution at all. It was a management arrangement. The family money from Iran went to London. Now let's take a closer look at this. This financial detail This financial deal went a lot further than that. Okay? Goes back decades. Let's talk about who financed 9/11 terrorist attacks in New York. Iran through Saudi Arabia financed the 9/11 attacks in New York through the Lloyds of London. Through the Lloyds of London banking node in the Isle of Man in St. Kitts. These kinds of financial dealings here in the Middle East have been going on literally for decades. Decades. As you know, Great Britain did not want to assist us in fighting Iran until there was already fury going on in Iran. Even then, Starmer tried to invite himself back into the fray as an ally of President Trump and said that he would make it clear that British carrier groups would be on standby in case they were needed. President Trump said no deal. President Trump said no deal, it's too late. Why? Because President Trump found out that the British were helping Iran finance the war machine with Iran through the offshore bank in St. Kitts that again the British government was in charge of. They controlled this bank in St. Kitts. Unreal. Mojtaba Khomeini, the man who was put in charge of as a supreme commander in Iran at the death of his father, his other brother, and his daughter and mother. Mojtaba Khomeini has amassed sprawling international investments while economic disasters were happening for the population of Iran. Ayatollah Khomeini, not his father, not his brother, but himself, the newly appointed Ayatollah, who might himself even be dead right now. We don't know. We don't know. But he has amassed all kinds of international investments while the economic disasters continue plaguing the Iranian people. In fact, that Khomeini, that same man, in regards to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, have been responsible for over 30,000 deaths in Iran during the last year. 30,000 deaths of the Iranian population in Tehran in the last year. The deadliest protests in Iran in decades. Where was President Trump's first trip when he first became president? Where do you think President Trump's first trip was during his first term? If you thought Saudi Arabia, you were right. He went to Saudi Arabia to tell the Saudis to stop financing Islamic terrorism. He went there to tell Saudis to stop financing Islamic terrorism. Where did President Trump go last year? Almost the first thing out of the gate after he became president. He went back to Saudi Arabia to make sure that they were not going to support Iranian terrorism. Now, President Trump is also calling Britain our former ally. This past week, President Trump called Britain our former ally. That's an important thing to know as well. Britain was hesitant to support the United States because they were in bed with the Ayatollah. Britain has been in bed with the Ayatollah. President Trump has cut off finances for Iran. Cut them off. The attack against Iran is already disabling Iran from even existing. It's very much just a matter of time before the country around will become non-functional. Trump knew then, and he knows now, where all the money is. He knows exactly where all the money is, and it's coming from Britain. Britain has been financing Islamic fundamentalism for decades. It's no surprise that the mayor of London is Britain's largest city, and that mayor is an Islamic left-wing fundamentalist. He's a left-wing Islamic fundamentalist who now controls America's largest city. Right again, Mayor Mamdani, another Islamic staunch left-wing fundamentalist. The chaos in the Middle East with Iran as the crown jewel that was part of the business model. The chaos in the Middle East has been part of the business model of Islam. London has been managing the deal for 47 years. We found out through Bloomberg that Lloyd's of London has been managing this whole thing for 47 years, way back to 1979. So who is part of the business model when the Ayatollah took over in 1979? They raided the U.S. Embassy. They kidnapped, raped, and murdered embassy staff members. Right again. London has been managing this for 47 years now. Until this week, we weren't sure. We found out. This week, Trump made sure that the world could see it. The insurance leads for the ships are now being replaced. President Trump last night said that the United States would insure the ship's passage through the Strait of Hormuz. What happened? The money trail from Lloyd's of London from Iran went right back to London. From Iran to London. President Trump is remaking the strategic landscape. What is the establishment's response? What do I mean by establishment? I'm telling you, it's the cabal, the world cabal. Let's look at John Bolton. Let's look at John Bolton here, right there. John Bolton is a prominent American attorney, a diplomat, and a foreign policy hawk who served as a national security advisor from 2018 to 2019 under President Trump's first term. And he was also the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations from 2005 to 2006. Bolton is widely considered a foreign policy hawk and advocates for military action. He's giving interviews right now that reflect a certain state of mind, which is anti-Trump. Trump had this man as his national security advisor, and now he's anti-Trump. Bolton gave an interview. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to give him any fame. Bolton gave an interview to this podcaster. He said, "Who gets me first, Iran or Trump? Who gets me first, Iran or Trump? Whose side is he on?" Bolton has been telling everyone who will listen to him that President Trump does not play by the rules that have been kept by other presidents, that kept other presidents in check. He doesn't play by the rules. Bolton has advocated a national security protocol process that gave us 20 years in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. Gave us presence in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. He's a hawk. He wants war. He wants war. He wants to destroy this country. And he says he's American. Now, the same national security strategy that managed the Islamic threat for 47 years without ever resolving it, because resolving it was never the point. Resolving the Iranian threat for 47 years was not the point at all. There is also someone else who's out in the cold. That person is also tied to the British Prime Minister, Mark Carney of Canada. Mark Carney of Canada. He's also the central bank prime minister. Mark Carney is a central bank prime minister. The same man that globalists have assigned to rescue some kind of rules based on their order, based on the Cabal order. Carney is also the City of London's financier, sitting on the outside to see how it all ends. He's the City of London's financier, literally sitting on the outside to see how it all ends. The globalists think that they have won. They think they have captured Trump, and that Iran is Iraq all over again. Look, though, who is actually complaining. Who's complaining now? Bolton. Bolton can't get what he wants. His national security process is on the line, faltering. Carney, on the other hand, in Canada, can't get into the room. The people who ran the old system are on the outside looking in, and they are furious about it. President Trump won't let them in. He won't give them the time of day at all. But that is not what the globalist takeover looks like. Bolton had called Iraq a military success. It wasn't really anything like that, though. Iraq military, the establishment in Iraq was a failure, a complete failure, a quagmire. Now, who do you think is in the room? Who do you all think is in the room? President Trump is in the room. Pete Hegseth is in the room. Marco Rubio is in the room. Our chief ambassador is in the room. They carry the weight of the men who are fighting. And they also carry the weight of those who have lost, who we have lost. That's the difference. The other presidents of the time just did not do that. The other presidents at the time did not carry the weight of our troops. They didn't carry the weight of the people we lost. Even Biden, he went to the protocol process of going out to the airport, the Air Force Base, to welcome our troops home when their caskets were being carried in front of him. He wasn't even bowing his head. He was checking his watch. He could have cared less. But the difference is, we have a president now that cares. We have a president now that is managing the imperial order, and he's making them pay for it. President Trump is managing the imperial order, and they're also making them pay for it. The generation that went to Baghdad and knew exactly what the old system cost, and the president who finally asked them to finish the job, is President Trump. This is what the global elite are looking at from the outside. That's why Lloyd's of London has had to blink. When President Trump pulled the money out from underneath Lloyd's of London yesterday for the final time, Lloyd's of London had to blink. They're no longer getting any money. Can you imagine where Starner was when he found that out? He must have been spitting bullets. How about Carney in Canada? Also spitting bullets. Their rugs were pulled out from underneath them. And for the first time in a long time, the American president is conducting foreign policy. The American president is conducting American foreign policy now, not an imperial one, not from the cabal. The success of President Trump's policy depends on you and me. Our support of our president. President Trump needs us to understand what he needs to do. We need to understand also that President Trump needs to defeat the real enemy, the cabal. We need to make sure that he has our support, our firm support, standing beside him and behind him to make sure the global cabal loses. The global cabal is going to lose here. The global cabal has tried to assassinate President Trump many, many times over and over. They've lost. They've lost, finally. Hopefully it'll be permanent. Hopefully that loss will be permanent. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is completely different. I want to go over to our health, our own safety in this world. We've had a bunch of solar flares, C&M class solar flares. What you're seeing now is a Schumann resonance. Today's Schumann resonance spectrogram is absolutely bursting with activity, with those long, massive white columns flooding the upper frequencies and showing that Earth's electromagnetic field is processing a huge wave of incoming plasma energy. When the chart saturates like this, it means one thing. The Earth's upper ionosphere is fully charged and actively redistributing the powerful electromagnetic pulses, often tied to strong solar energy, interacting with our planet's magnetic field. That's what we see here. That's why I want you to see it. Instead of one quick spike like sometimes we see, this chart shows repeated surges blasting through the resonant layers, which tells us that the system is adjusting and stabilizing. Our system around our Earth, our magnetic field, and our upper ionosphere are still adjusting and managing the solar flare pulses. The solar flare pulses. We've talked about pulse magnetic radiation, solar radiation from the sun. Okay? What does this do to us? As we told you before, the solar radiation comes through our magnetosphere, comes through our atmosphere, heating up the atmosphere. It comes to the surface of the Earth. What happens? What have I said? When it hits the surface of the Earth, all the plates, all the faults around the world move. Why? Everything that's been holding those plates in place, everything that's been holding those faults in place, all that dirt, all the sand, all the rock, all the biological material heats up from the solar radiation, doesn't it? Heats up. It turns into a greasy, oily-like substance, and then the plates move. The plates and the faults then move freely like this, causing earthquakes. We've been seeing a lot of earthquakes recently, haven't we? Up until as of the last few days, we've seen a lot of 5.0s to 5.7s, large and very large earthquakes. Guess what? Today things changed. Off the coast of Chile today, guys, I'm going to take down our webcam. I'm going to take down our EMA banner here for just a few minutes. I want to show you what happened today. Okay? Currently, hold on a second. Currently, you're seeing the Aleutian Island fault zone. Bear with me. I'm going to take that down. I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it. I'm going to go over to South America. Over to South America, to Chile. Because today, we had a 6.3 earthquake. We had a 6.3 earthquake right here. Okay? This is 53 miles west of Vallenar, Chile. 53 miles west of Vallenar, Chile. Guys, this was a 6.3 very strong earthquake. Very strong earthquakes range in size from 6.0 to 6.9. This was a 6.3 very strong earthquake, just barely off the coast of Chile today. Now, there are some cities here. There are some cities here, guys. There's communities here. People felt part of this earthquake. They didn't feel probably the 6.3 itself, but they did feel large seismic energy hit. They did feel large seismic energy hit. Some part of this earthquake energy was absorbed by the ocean waters of the Pacific Ocean here, but not all of it. The people here in Chile felt some large seismic energy here. Okay? They're probably going to continue to feel it for some time. Why? Why do you think that's the case? Let me show you my device here. I'll bring up my device. I want to show you what's happened today. Everybody needs to realize what happened, because sooner or later it's going to happen to each one of us. Doesn't matter where you are in this world, whether you are in the United States, whether you were in Canada, whether you were in South America, Central America, Mexico, whether you were in Europe, anywhere in Europe. We've seen large earthquakes hit. We've seen major earthquakes hit. Guess what? It's not over. It's not over at all. Let me show you what's happened today. This is going to blow your mind. I believe this is going to blow your mind completely. Okay? I'm going to open the webcam here. I want to show you this. Again, when that solar plasma radiation comes through the atmosphere, heating up the atmosphere, comes over the Earth's surface, comes and hits the Earth's surface. It heats up the Earth's surface, the plates and the faults. All the gunk and grime that's holding them together. Friction holds the plates and the faults together, doesn't it? But when that plasma radiation or the electromagnetic radiation from planetary alignments, same thing happens. All the gunk and grime, all the sand, all the rock, all the biological material heats up and a greasy-like substance forms. That allows the plates to more freely move like this, like the faults. They're going to move. We're having earthquakes. The plates are doing the same thing like this. The plates heat up, and when this gunk and grime turns to oily, greasy-like substance, the plates more freely move. That's when we get earthquakes like we had today. The South American plate heated up. The Pacific plate heated up. That's where this 6.3 earthquake came from. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Look at this. Oh, darn it. Okay, look at this, guys. This is South America. There are 72 earthquakes in South America. 72. 59 of them. 59 of them are over in Chile. In Chile. Those circles say 20 plus. 20 plus. There's a lot of earthquakes there. Lots and lots of earthquakes there. Now, guys, I'm going to show you something here that you need to see, and you also need to remember. Because the same thing's going to happen to each one of us. When seismic energy reaches us, we're going to see the same thing. But it's going to affect us. It's going to turn our lives upside down. It's going to turn our lives upside down. Why do I say that? Because when earthquakes hit, they destroy property. They destroy property and families. They destroy people. Again, this was a 6.3 earthquake here. 6.3 earthquake here, offshore. But again, only part of that energy was absorbed by the Pacific Ocean. We still had a large amount of energy hit land, disrupting people's lives. There was one foreshock. There was one foreshock before that earthquake hit. Oh, darn it. The foreshock was a 3.8 earthquake. The foreshock was a 3.8 earthquake. All the other earthquakes in this region, all the other earthquakes, and I'm only showing a part of them here. All the other earthquakes here are part of aftershocks, part of the aftershocks. Now I'm going to ask a question I've asked before. Why is USBS not showing all the aftershocks? Why? Why? Call them and ask them yourself. Ask them why they are not showing all the aftershocks. Why are they not honestly showing earthquakes around the world? Why are they not showing earthquakes here in the United States as well? They'll say, we do. You can say, you don't. Why are they not on the maps if you're showing them? Why are they not on the maps if you're showing them? They're not going to have an answer. I've, in fact, asked several times that same question. What do I get? Twice. Twice they hung up on me. They hung up on me. They don't want to be questioned. They don't want to be questioned. A great many earthquakes have happened here in Chile today. These are just some of them. These are just some of them. Up in Peru, 2 more earthquakes have hit Peru. This is inland, inside Peru on the eastern side of the Andes Mountains. This is a 4.0 earthquake here. One earthquake just to the east of there, also 4.1. 2 4s hit here. 2 4 moderate earthquakes hit here. Okay, let's zoom in here. I want to show you this. This earthquake further east, there's a city there. There's a city. This city felt those earthquakes. This city felt those earthquakes. The one out here further to the west, there's no cities and towns around it. None. The two 4.0 and 4.1 earthquakes hit today in Peru, central Peru, east of the Andes Mountains. In Colombia, actually, let's stop first at Ecuador. Ecuador had a 3.1 earthquake here. North in Colombia, 4 earthquakes occurred today in Colombia. That's a 2.4 earthquake there. North of there, 2 more earthquakes. Actually, 2 more earthquakes here. Santander, Colombia. This is a 3.4 small quake. Right next to it is a 1.7 tremor. Then over south near the coastline. South there near the coastline. Also in Colombia. Oceano Pacifico. 2.7 minor earthquake. 2.7 minor earthquake. Now, is USGS showing any of this? No, they're not. They're showing only 1 earthquake in just outside of Vallenar, Chile. That's all they're showing. Nothing else. They're not showing any earthquakes over in Central America. There are 19 earthquakes here in Central America. 19 earthquakes here in Central America. Over here in southern Mexico. Southern Mexico. North of the Guatemala border here, all the way up here to Puerto Vallarta. All the way up here north to Puerto Vallarta here. I'm sorry, right there. There's Puerto Vallarta there. 49 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. 49 earthquakes. That's a lot of quakes. That's a ton of quakes. And USGS shows nothing. Not a thing. 49 earthquakes, USGS shows nothing. That's quite sad. I'm going to show you 2 more earthquakes just so you know what happens. Actually, I'm going to show you 3. I'm going to show you 3 more earthquakes. In Finland, actually, I'm going to show you 4. This is what actually happened in Europe today. 900 plus earthquakes here in Europe today. 900 earthquakes. Interesting. Down here in the Gulf of Aden. In the Gulf of Aden. I've got it here, right there. In the Gulf of Aden. That's a 4.5 moderate earthquake there. 4.5 moderate earthquake there. Now, all over this area, nearly 900 earthquakes here. And USGS shows nothing. USGS shows nothing at all. Not a thing. Now, I want to go over here to Turkey. North central Turkey had an earthquake while we were on the air last night, right before we got off the air. That was a 5.3 earthquake. Look at all the aftershocks. There are 65 aftershocks here. USGS not showing anything at all. Not a thing. Not a thing. Why not? Why not, guys? Now, on the north side of the Black Sea, the north side of the Black Sea, okay? Right there. Crimea region. Crimea region. This is a 3.6 earthquake. I've never seen an earthquake here in Crimea at all before. That's why I'm showing it to you. 3.6 on the north side of the Black Sea. Okay? Crazy. Crazy. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Let's go over to Finland. I'm going to pull back here and go to Finland now. Southern Finland right here. Okay? We didn't used to see earthquakes in Finland. Guess what? Right there. This is just a tremor. Nobody felt this. Nobody felt this at all. It's just a 1.2 tremor in Finland. All the time we see earthquakes in Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland. We didn't used to see those. South of Iceland. South of Iceland here. South of the peninsula here. Right here. This is a 2.2 minor earthquake there. On the fault line. On the mid-Atlantic fault line. Again, I want to remind everybody, the mid-Atlantic fault is expanding. The mid-Atlantic plate is expanding. As it expands, we're going to see more and more earthquakes here. At some point in time, what's going to happen to Iceland? What's going to happen to Iceland here? The mid-Atlantic fault goes and rips through the central part of Iceland right here. What's going to happen to Iceland? Okay. Good question, huh? It absolutely is. Absolutely is. 2 more earthquakes here. 2 more earthquakes here. This next one is in South Carolina. Finally, USGS is showing earthquakes in South Carolina here. Right here. Northeast of Charleston, off the coast. Off the coast. Northeast of Charleston. This earthquake is a 2.01 minor earthquake. 2.01 minor earthquake here. Okay? But there are more earthquakes than that. They still don't want to show us what's actually happening. Earthquakes all over Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, northwestern New York, Maryland, Vermont, Maine. They're all over. Is USGS going to show them to us? No. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Why? Why? I think we deserve some answers. Right here. On the south side of Lake Erie. The south side of Lake Erie. Madison, Ohio. We have a 2.2 earthquake here. 2.2 minor earthquake here. Now, you might ask, why do we have earthquakes here? Number one, over here under the water on the southern side of Lake Erie, there is a fault. There's a fault underneath Lake Erie there. But guess what else is also going on here? There on the southern coastline of Lake Erie, there's salt mining going on. There's salt mining going on here. This salt mining may have caused this earthquake. We don't know. Why do we not know? Because they don't want us to know. They don't tell us. They don't tell anybody. How do I know it? Because I've done the research. This is not the only earthquake that we've seen here near Madison or anywhere else here. Salt mining causes earthquakes in this region as the ground falls. As the ground falls. Okay? Happens all the time, no matter what mining you have. When you go underground, remove the ground, remove anything underneath the ground, at some point in time, the ground's going to fall. That's what we have there. Ground failure. Ground fault failure. Okay? This Wagner says Crimea region. Yeah, Crimea region. Crimea region, guys. That was a good joke, Dennis. Good one there. Now, that's the only earthquakes we're going to talk about today. I have other fish to fry here. I want to talk mostly about us, you and I. What's going to happen to you and I? Okay? Now, we've seen a lot of terrorism in the United States and all over the world. We've seen terrorism in England. We've seen terrorism in Scotland. We've seen terrorism in Ireland. We've seen terrorism in South America, Central America, and even over in Mexico all the time. Between the gangs and cartels, there's all kinds of terrorism going on. Japan has also seen terrorism. South America, Australia, Indonesia, they've seen it. It's all over the world. Now, I'm going to tell you this. There are 10 everyday activities that expose you as a terrorist. There are 10 everyday activities that expose you as a terrorist. Terrorism. That is a word that strikes fear in almost every single red-blooded person in America or anywhere else. Terrorist. But who is a terrorist? What makes a person a terrorist? What puts them on the watch list? What puts terrorists on the watch list? What are the odds when you hear the word terrorist that you conjure up a certain and specific image in your own mind? What is that? But what would you think if I told you that what you think a terrorist looks like and what the government describes as a terrorist are completely different? Completely different. What if I told you that you could be on that very same watch list? I could be on that same watch list for doing 10 incredibly common everyday activities. They're not what you think. I had a friend who travels all over the world for a major company. I know who he is. I've been over his house. I partied with him. We watched football and baseball games together. Gone to football games in Denver. He lives in the Denver metro area today. His name and profile was on the watch list for a very long time until he finally got it removed. But it took a very long time for him to remove it. He was not a terrorist at all. He still does not know if they may be still keeping an eye on him. He doesn't know. The FBI and the justice system, the FBI and the Department of Justice, have distributed flyers to local businesses advising them how to spot suspicious activity. And Homeland Security is encouraging them to report such behavior as potential terrorist activity. These businesses are amateur at best, and they could alert authorities by just looking at you. Those businesses have been alerted by Homeland Security, the FBI included, to point out terrorist activity, potential terrorist activity. As I said before, no one at any of these businesses are professional. None of them. They're not professional law enforcement. They're not professional activity when it comes to picking out terrorists. But they could call Homeland Security on each and every one of us by just looking at us. Now, I know that seems just plain ridiculous, but this is absolutely true. And yes, it is a part of our lives in today's society. Some of the ordinary activities are considered by the FBI to be suspicious include buying coffee with cash on a regular basis. Because using cash is un-American. Using cash is un-American. Paying cash to get a tattoo or even renting a car. Taking inappropriate photographs or videos can label you as a terrorist. Being someplace you don't belong, or as someone may call it, profiling. Profiling. Having a missing finger, even a hand. Missing a hand or finger can label you as a terrorist. Traveling an illogical distance to use an internet cafe. My buddy owns a coffee pot. He drinks coffee. So I think driving any distance to get an overpriced cup of coffee is illogical. But people do it every day. I know people that drive miles to get a cup of coffee. And they might pay cash for it. Does this label them a terrorist? I don't think so. Because they've been told that terrorists could possibly even just use cash instead of a credit card. But then again, there's been a lot of credit card fraud as well. But even buying an overpriced cup of coffee could be considered, or you could be considered as a terrorist buying a cup of coffee. Wearing a backpack. How many times have we seen backpacks being worn by anybody and everybody? Even the main suspect in the kidnapping, that wonderful woman over in Arizona, wearing a backpack when the weather is warm, could label you as a terrorist. Students beware. Students beware. I have told my kids to watch out because they could be labeled as a terrorist. Don't leave your backpacks anywhere for anybody to get into. Don't leave your backpacks anywhere on the floor unless they are under your control, under your immediate control. How many of us carry and use backpacks? I do. I have numerous backpacks. Sometimes I use backpacks in my everyday activity. Whenever I go to a gathering in our city here, in Morganton, Because of what I have to have air pack here I carry with me, sometimes we don't have enough money to buy food at some of these high priced gatherings we go to, so we take our own food into the gathering. We carry our own food into the place. No, they don't like it, but guess what? I really don't care. But I use a backpack. Yes, that could label me as a terrorist in somebody's eyes. Making suspicious comments regarding radical theology. Making suspicious comments about radical theology or anti-US sentiment. That appears to be out of place and provocative. How about conducting financial transactions in bursts of activities within a very short time period? Conducting financial activities. Say you're using a credit card on Wish or Temu or any other place on the internet. And you make several suspicious transactions. They might call suspicious, you don't. You make several transactions within a given period of time. Law enforcement could use that as a possible sign of terrorism. They would investigate it, trying to find out what you bought, what you purchased. Conducting financial transactions in bursts of activities within a short period of time, especially in previous dormant accounts. Especially in previous dormant accounts. Does this make me, my wife, your spouse, a terrorist? Your wife during one of her shopping sprees, their wives and spouses and other people go on? Does that make him a terrorist? I don't think so. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. The FBI released at least 25 different flyers to businesses in order for them to be more informed and help the FBI by reporting possible terrorist activities. You can find these guidelines all over the internet. You can find these guidelines all over the internet. You can find them at businesses you even shop in. Downtown businesses, restaurants that you shop in. Those flyers exist. Funny, I don't feel like a terrorist. How many of these things apply to you? How many of these things apply to you guys? Now, I understand that times we live in are in a very tense situation. Places that we live in, places that we go to are in a very tense situation. Crime is rampant. Terrorism activity is rampant. We've talked about some terrorism activity tonight. All of us are on a constant state of high alert. Constant state of high alert. But some of these activities are not a joke. Some of these quote unquote suspicious activities are not a joke. For instance, taking an interest in remote controlled aircraft. I have two of them. Both of which were given to me. Personal drones are one of the top American hobbies right now. The personal drone market is already a $5.6 billion industry, and over 1 million drones are currently in the hands of American citizens. The watch list got a lot larger, didn't it? A whole lot larger. Now, I just saw an ad a few days ago recruiting people about how they can benefit a company by operating their own personal drones. Yeah, I saw an ad online, guys, on Facebook, recruiting people how they can benefit a company by operating their own personal drones. Another suspicious trigger is fidgeting or being impatient while you're standing in a line. I've seen it happen. I've seen someone that is very impatient standing in line that gives a burst of energy. All of a sudden strikes out to the nearest person around them, shaking them. Why is this line not moving? How does the person in line think about that? I don't know why it's not moving. Why are you shaking me? I'm going to tell you this. If someone behind me came up and tried to shake my body, they wouldn't be able to do it again. I can't count the number of times I've been aggravated, or even visibly stressed, tense, even while standing in a line at Walmart. For 15, 20 minutes while they refuse to open up another register. But that does not make me a terrorist. No, but it makes me a normal person that has somewhere else to go, someplace else to be. I might also have a timeline or somewhere else, where else I want to be, that I'd rather be. What do you think? Do you agree with the FBI's release of these flyers that ask American business owners to self-police their customers? What do you think? The very same people that rely on customers to stay in business, the very same people, the very same businesses that rely on you and I to patronize their business, to buy things from the business, are being coached to see who might be a terrorist coming in their business. That almost seems insane. This almost seems insane. It is. It's insane, guys. It really is. Why am I talking about it? Because of everything else that's happening around us. We've seen it. I want you all to be aware of it. I want everybody to be aware of it. We had upwards of 27, 30 people just a few minutes ago. Now we have 19, 18 people watching now. Apparently, so many people are not wanting to identify anyone as a terrorist. They don't want to be aware of it themselves. But guess what? If you don't want to be aware of it, walk out of our training, then you might be also labeled as a terrorist yourself. As Lucy did say once upon a time, Ricky, you've got some splaining to do. Yeah. Think about it, guys. Think about this. Now, yes, I poked a little bit of fun here, but this is the absolute truth. This can happen to you. Think about it. Be aware of it. Be aware of it. Be aware of everything going around you. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. Before I leave this program tonight, you see our PayPal address is scrolling across the bottom of your screen. If you want to help support this program, go to our PayPal. Go to our PayPal, leave us a donation. That would very much help keep this program on the air. It takes money to do this. When I first started 7 years ago, I poo-pooed the idea. Then all of a sudden, the internet prices kept skyrocketing. It turns out bandwidth is expensive. I pay for bandwidth every day. I pay bandwidth once a month, but I pay for it every day. That's because I use it. I use it to talk to all of you. So guys, please help us keep this program in the air. Okay? Second, make sure you still subscribe to this program. Like this program. Give us a thumbs up. Make sure that you're still subscribed to this program. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to this program. When you do that, there's a little bell icon next to the subscription button. Click on that bell icon. A drop-down menu of 3 items is going to pop up. Click on the word ALL, all. That will get you notified when we come on the air. Be advised, YouTube keeps unsubscribing people all the time. So I ask you all to make sure you're still subscribed to this channel. Third, I want you to tell other people about our channel. If you learned anything, you enjoy seeing what we have to offer here, please tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family and extended family. Tell the people you associate with on social media. Tell the people you work with. I try not to show you anything that will make you look like an idiot. I don't want to do that. I don't want to embarrass anybody. But guys, what we talk about is serious here. Everything we talk about could happen to you and me. That's why we talk about it. I personally have experienced everything we talked about tonight. I've seen it. I want you to all be careful. Know what's going on around you more than anything else. Know what's going on around you. Be safe out there. Also, something else, you see our address scrolling across above your screen, our postal address, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code is 28655. You can send us a letter or card. Inside your letter or inside your card, you can stick cash or even a check. We'd appreciate it to help keep this program in the air. We love cards. Linda Covington sent me a card we got yesterday. We love it. St. Patty's Day card. I love it. Linda, thank you for that. Thank you for your donation as well. She slipped a donation into the card and also a little book about Lent. I knew kind of what Lent was about, but this is a book talking about it. I love it. Love it. Now, again, guys, if you have any comments or questions, down after this video is done, down below this video, will be a comment section left open by YouTube. Send us comments if you will. If you can, if you want to, send us positive comments. We'd appreciate it. YouTube takes those comments and says, oh, look, this person likes Ron. This person likes EMA. This person likes EMA. Maybe we ought to let other people know about it. They also look at the amount of time you spend on the program. If you're here only for 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, YouTube says, oh, I guess that guy isn't very popular. I guess what they're talking about is not very popular. We're not going to let anybody see it. That's how YouTube thinks. If you want to help this program, stay with the program the entire time we're on the program, if you can, or the longest time period you can. We'd appreciate that. It helps. It helps a lot. Please do those things, guys. It helps. YouTube keeps on making sure nobody sees this program. They're making sure nobody sees this program. I know for a fact. Our numbers have gone way, way down. Our numbers have gone way, way down. Not just subscribing numbers, but the number of people watching our program have gone way, way down. Until last November, we were getting anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people every day. Every day. Now we might get anywhere from 300 to 500 people a day. That's all. So people, friends, family here, please tell everybody about our channel. And please stay here to watch our channel. We have pertinent information that might save your lives, your family's lives. Please join us here. Please join us here. Now, in closing, this is Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we take the day off, except even at night or middle of the morning. If something major happens, we'll come on the air and tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. On Saturdays and Sundays, we take it off, except on Sundays about 12:30. We come on the air with a program called Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, a Sunday school class, talking this year about the Old Testament. The Old Testament. I love it. I love the scriptures. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Sunday, we're going to be talking about Genesis 34 through 38. Genesis chapters 34 through 38. Read it and be prepared to discuss it. We love that. We love it. If you have questions, ask. Be happy to answer it for you. That's what we're going to do. Now, guys, we've talked about Jesus Christ a lot. This is a statue of Jesus Christ they have in Salt Lake City, in Rome, Italy, in Denmark, all over the world. I love Jesus Christ. I love Jesus Christ. I worship Jesus Christ. This time period we're living in right now is the Easter season. I think we need to stay on the covenant path. Stay on the covenant path. Watch what we're doing. Read the scriptures. Pray. And ask for the Spirit of the Lord to be with us. Ask the Spirit of the Lord to be with us, to bless our lives, and bless the lives of our family. This is getting to be more and more necessary. But not just that. As I've been talking about the last few days, the last week, in fact, we talked about Easter. We've been talking about what happened before Christ was crucified in the Garden of Gethsemane. He took his disciples, left them in the portion of the garden. He went further in the Garden of Gethsemane and prayed. Prayed for hours. He prayed so much, so earnestly, that he sweat great drops of blood. Painful, very painful. He asked his Father, Father, if it be thy will, please take this cup from me. But not my will, but thine be done. Jesus Christ. During the time he was praying, he left the area where he was praying and walked over where he left the disciples. They had fallen asleep. He woke them up and asked them to continue praying with him. Then he went back into the garden and continued praying. Later, evil men caught him, took him before Pilate, condemned him to death. Then they fastened him through spikes through his hands and his feet and put him on a cross to die. This Easter season, we are giving thanks for his atonement and his resurrection, giving us the opportunity also to be resurrected and live again with our Heavenly Father. One of my favorite authors, Richard Paul Evans, wrote this: "O Lord, if I could borrow just one breath. From the night you walked the garden alone, not to ask for miracles, not to beg for proof, but to feel what it's like to be enough, just enough, without the weight of tomorrow promises." And if you answered, I'd probably cry, not because it hurt, but because I finally stopped pretending that I knew how to carry it all. So keep the stars Keep the thunder. Just let me sit home here in the dark and believe that you're still listening. Brothers and sisters, I've been on the air now almost 7 years. Throughout that 7-year time period, I've asked all of you to pray for me. I've asked all of you to pray for each other, for our EMA family, for each and every one of our family members. We have a lot of them. We have a lot of them. Our world and national leaders as well. Pray for each and every one of us, that we might know what we need to be doing to heal ourselves and to bless our lives. We know we need to be healed. The Lord will give us the opportunity to be healed. Ask Him. Go to the Lord in sincere prayer. Go to the Lord in sincere prayer. As the scriptures teach, we go to Him in sincere prayer with real intent, having faith in Christ. He will manifest the truth of it unto you through the gift and power of the Holy Ghost. And through the gift and power of the Holy Ghost, you may know the truth of all things. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and season. We love you. We love you. Stay close to our Heavenly Father. Stay close to Jesus Christ. I leave you my testimony that He lives. He lives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my everlasting head. I love Him. May God bless you this day. May God bless you with everything you do. May God be with you this day and always. Like I said, Sunday we will be back here on the air for sure about 12:30 for our Sunday school class. Come follow me, the Savior said, every Sunday. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side, brothers and sisters. Have a great day. God bless you. We'll see you on the side. Good night, everyone. God bless. Have fun. Good night.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.